I went to the Canton FBI building. I started playing some of my tapes for them. And I told them that it was undercover police doing it for George Pete and for Michelle. And I told them when the cops even raped me. They said they'd be addressing this with them. But as far as like the people following me and harassing me, that would be a police matter. Um, there is some now. When I called at the Canton FBI, September 27th, 2018, no one can surveillance you in your home unless you're under protective custody. You have to ask for help with Miranda rights, have witnesses, and the other person has to be notified of a threat. The police can't even watch you at home until then, because then it could be protected custody. Otherwise, it's illegal surveillance, because it takes all your rights away. It takes your right to remain silent, legal representation, right to a fair court trial, right to bail and bond, and a right to privacy. It wipes everything away. Illegal surveillance is police abuse, misconduct, and entrapment. Um, so yeah, and it's like a 5-year sentence. Nobody ever wants to put their name on that. Um, but my house was legally bugged on Thanksgiving of 18 on a real threat of life with the Miranda rights, asked for help. Some guy came in, Walmart 62, said he spoke to Dave about these people threatening me, better not put his hands on me. So it was legally bugged. There's only two things that are actually funny about this. Melissa, my ex-daughter-in-law, thought she would help them get away with this and have her kids lie. I didn't know they were going to lie. I didn't know what they were going to lie. And it took me a long time for people to come up and tell me. Okay? Um, if they wouldn't mention anything else. And I would have walked a little faster up that steps. I wouldn't have overheard Auntie shout or anything else. All right? And, dear God, when I went to my son on Thanksgiving, he didn't even know, and they're just going to make it up because of the divorce. And it can't be anything bad, but should have the church people say something too. Yeah. I mean, I'm just like, you shouldn't have said anything. Well, I told him you're moving out and you're going to go through a divorce. She'll just have him make up something. Can't be anything bad. Yeah, well, yeah. It's one thing when you're shitty and you make up lies, and it's another thing when you pay off a dirty cop to stab somebody with a needle in their sleep and lying you have sodium pentothal reports. I told the FBI that. They went, what's that? Oh my God. I said, they're trying to say they got truth serum. Really? I said, it was so bad up there. People were breaking in, stabbing me with needles in my sleep, and I'd have bruises. And it was horrible. And then they come in Walmart. We was New Year's, and don't you remember the sodium pentothal? Tell someone you're arrested. And I didn't know. I'd have footsteps in the back steps, and then leaves in the kitchen where they broke in. Right? Yeah. Because it comes down to this where they keep saying a Steve or Eric take me, but I never had them in my home. I don't know them. We'll put it this way. No officer, no agent, no man, no lady ever came to question me of wrongdoing. I'd like to see the tape. There's none. There is none. I'd like to see the body cam. Miranda rights, or me at the station with Miranda. No, there is none. There's nothing but bruises. I got sick when Dave touched my drinks. Okay? I've lost almost 80 pounds. Okay? I lost from 212 to 17 down to 150. Now, I was going to get re-seen at Mercy Medical. Yesterday, I went in around midnight, and there was a nurse in there, and I was waiting. And I asked her, I said, could I just talk to you? And she's like, yeah. And I told her about how they helped out with this, the undercover police in the courthouse of Ravenna. She's like, I've heard about those Ravenna police. She's like, they're the worst. They hurt people and they abuse them. She said, you're not the first one that's came in here of how much they hurt people. And I told her about the rape, and she looked at me and I said, do you want to see a picture of my face where they smothered me? She said, I can tell by the look on your face and the way you speak, they did it. You've been raped. Somebody else told me they could already see it in me when I talk. I guess there's a lot. It wasn't just rape, it was torture and being drugged in a fake confession video. I have a picture in my phone. I showed it to her. You can see where they smothered me. The imprint of the bruise through here. You can see a bruise here, and my eyes are all dark. Even with makeup, you can see it through. And you can see where there's even like a knot in my head. And then there's other things where they beat me. You gotta think they smothered me till I passed out, sat me up and started smothering me and started beating me till I said whatever they wanted. Now, I'm not the only victim. That nurse at Mercy Medical said they're the worst. I am not the first one to come in and say they hurt people. Okay. Think of that. I keep trying to tell these people, why wouldn't they hurt you? And they've hurt others. Okay? She said, in the courts up there are the worst. They're unfair and they won't correct their pleas. Now, like I said, okay, I'm not the brightest cookie in the bunch, but I'm not stupid either. I had this amazing brother-in-law, okay, amazing brother-in-law. He worked at the Pentagon. He worked under Dick Cheney. And the way he described himself, he was a private consultant for the FBI, unrestricted, did war weapons. A private consultant for the FBI, unrestricted, did war weapons, and worked for Dick Cheney. And he traveled the world. One of the guys that watched me said he was actually CIA and worked for both. His name was Craig M. Davis, and he died moving paperwork between the buildings March 26, 1990. So, yeah, he would even say, Karen, do you know there's spy satellites that can look down and see what cooking on your grill? He was designing all kinds of crap. He just says stuff like that, or a monitor's a monitor. The government can see it through the TV. Okay? And, yeah, stuff like that. And everything else was hush-hush. You know what I mean? Okay? So, yeah. So knowing my house was legally bugged after September 27th, 18, there was a man that went to Paul Paymer, okay? Apostolic Church of Barberton. He's white, 5'9", 5'10", 165, a 170, late 30s, early 40s, black hair, dark eyes, black glasses. Paul Paymer got in Dave's face in front of 100 people. My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. And I walk off. So, and Dave's screaming in the car. I was afraid he's going to kill me on the way home. I didn't call Wellbeck. I was so upset. I forgot to tell him. I even forgot to tell him about the guy threatening to knife me in Giant Eagle. And I'll tell you what, if you want a picture of the man that one of them that's hired that tried to kidnap me, go to Huntington Bank. They have to keep their stuff for 5 years. I'm right by the ATM, and he comes up and tells me he'd knife me right then and there if it wasn't for that security guard. And I freeze for a second, and I go, I want to open an account. And then the crazy blonde lady, I get paid to watch her. The banker's like, lady, stay out of it. He said, no, I get paid to watch her. Okay. And he said, lady, I mean, it won't be worth it. And one of the black hair guys walk out around me. They try to kidnap me. Want a picture of one of them? There he is. Right? All right. Now we're going to talk. We're going to talk big time. Okay? We're going to talk big time. Big time. Now, some guy was blaming Will for all this. And then February 7th, I took Becky, my neighbor, to Giant Eagle. Okay? And some guys out there and said Will had nothing to do with this. He did very little with the case and left it on his desk. He started a state case. State and police investigation. Let the police handle the stalkers. That's what I thought it was. He didn't bother to look. He didn't bother to look that the undercover police were doing it and that Dave was dating Michelle. Otherwise, he would have said, hey, Karen, this is crazy. Get out of there. But no, he left me on his desk. I think I said it. Okay? I got to thinking. Now, I've told you the story, and I got witnesses out of the house. And I'll tell you what, I worked in a restaurant about 15 years ago. I had tiny little cameras in the corner with a VHS tape. Go home and watch and see, make sure everybody's doing their job. Okay? Well, it also had sound. Tiny little cameras. Found some kid insult me. Said something to him about it. 15 years ago. Just little cameras went in a VHS tape across the restaurant. Now, if that could do it 15 years ago, you can't tell me these store cameras can't pick up audio. I broke my glasses the other day. I had to get new glasses, okay? And I was talking to the guy that did the glasses, and I was telling him how Judge Pete's wife at Memorial Day weekend 2019 break, they did all this at the food counter. And standing there, bragging out, yelling out. He's like, we'd have that tape. Huh? Yeah. Somebody else pulled it. In November, we found the tape of that idiot woman bragging they did all this for her daughter. Yeah. Okay. For it's my daughter her husband dates. He met her in Ravenna when she was having a stomach smell. It's for my daughter they did all this for. And our family watching her doing this. It's actually them. She put her name all over. Okay? She put her name all over it. And for who's Karen's rich boyfriend but the state of Ohio who protects her, I had legal departments follow me around. Freemasons helped out from Ravenna, and the retired vets from Lake Milton helped work security. Okay? Created a police investigation, got the volunteers come up. Okay? Now, yeah. The real target, I got to thinking last night, and I thought of it before. Dave's the real target. Dave hit me with a board in the face. I got smart with him. You never make him mad. Ever make him mad. He'll spoil you with big jewelry, be good to you for years. You make him mad, he'll hurt you bad. See, I got a chip in my tooth, and he missed it on my phone. Okay? Missed it. Okay? he went to the store himself. We didn't have a refrigerator for 2 weeks. I think that's when he went to the prostitute. Well, within 10 days, we're still moving on from that storage unit. I had rented out in Green. It was really cheap. It was like 80 something dollars a month. And it was a huge one. So we put our stuff in there because I didn't know when we closed and when we would be able to move into our new home. So I stored stuff at Danny's and there, and we packed that thing to the house. And so, I mean, we had came down to when we moved, we had our clothes, we had our TV, a couple fans, and an air mattress and some blankets and pillows. Everything else was in storage, except for what we had loaded up on the trailer to move with us that day. That was it. Everything else was in storage. So we had to make several trips. We come home, and when we locked up the house, the door's wide open, and there's a hole in the wall. Right? We haven't been there 10 days. We're still moving in. We have very little in that house because we're doing it ourselves, and we're doing trips. There's a hole in the wall this big, and it's like somebody knocking on our door, and we're looking around. Nothing's missing. And Dave's like, this makes no sense. He said, did one of those other realtors where we just closed not realize we closed and give a key and somebody slammed that door open and let it fly? So we changed the locks. We put chains on it. And I put mesh up and plastered it. Okay? I think that's when they did illegal surveillance. Now, they've admitted to altering tapes, people knowing of it, drugging me before, admitting in front of people that they're drugged me before and told me to say something stupid. I didn't have anybody in my home. It comes down to that. I didn't have anybody in my home. We're going to come down to, I had delivery drivers for the refrigerator, repair guys for the ADT, the water treatment system, and the wood burner guy. And then the Spectrum people. And I didn't talk to them as more than what you want done. I had the 2 officers that came out August 8th. I had a light in my security system. They come out, and I told you how silly they were. They come out, and they're like, ma'am, maybe it's an alien orb or an angry spirit. And I'm like, sir, it's hot out there. I said, would you like a bottle of water? I'm thinking the man's dehydrated. And he's like, no, ma'am, I'll use the bathroom underneath. I'm like, sir, it's hot out there. I'm thinking he's dehydrated. He's like, can you walk outside? There's another officer. I go out, and it's like black soup. We're 11 miles out of town. Okay? Country land, big woods. Okay? There's nothing. There's not even street lights. There's not even a house across the road. Okay? I said, I don't even feel safe out there. He's like, ma'am, how we handle it here in the country, we buy big dogs. We open the door and let the dogs handle. Oh. Oh my God. I'm like, oh, you don't give a damn. He didn't want to bother with the trespasser. Buy a big dog. Somebody comes on your property at night. Open the door and let the dog handle it. That's how we handle it in the country. He didn't know they were there. He went and got shitty. Right? Alright. Alright. So, yeah. So it's like, I'd like to see the body cam of someone knocking on my door with Miranda rights. I would like to see a video of me opening the door, let you in, and us sitting down like human beings. Never happened. I had bruises. Somebody broke in my door within 10 days. Now they've admitted to altering tapes, drugging me before, and telling me to say whatever shit is. 2 guys walked by my apartment once and said, would you erase my part out? Yeah, I'll erase your part out. Well, they were playing with the regular evidence up there. I want to find out who was breaking and stabbing me with needles. And Dave and I talk about our security system tape. It glitched because it looked like a man walking towards my house. And then when I restarted it, he was gone. And you could see him perfectly. I'm like, is that a man walking towards our house? And then it like froze for a second. I went to restart it. The whole thing's gone. It's all great. They covered over it. They were playing like the gunshot night. Whatever happened on that other side of the duplex where there was men staying, they gutted it and burned everything within a few weeks. I don't know what happened to those men. Um, but yeah. Now, if you take there's a login to the state case. If you need it, go to Faith Family Church. The ushers have it. And a lot of people in the church. St. Mary's, Mancan and Canton, Amazon delivery drivers, Macedonia Fire Department, Youngstown Gas, Sheets. They came up in Walmart. The agents are selling the login for money. They were officers selling the case for money. Okay? They're talking about Walmart. I mean, people have admitted to see me on the toilet, in the bathroom, in the bedroom. That's how not funny this is. They have admitted to seeing the rape, too, and torture. It wasn't just rape, it was torture for hours and being drugged and beat a confession out, knowing I was innocent and drugged and told to say whatever shit is. And I hate that word. When I went to move out, everybody's like, share what happened up there. And now everything's taped admitting it. You take sh in it. It's shit. Okay? Now, with that nurse at Mercy Medical, I'm sitting there, I'm showing her you can see where they pushed the pillow into my face and actually bruised it. Top of my nose is bruised. You can see the real deep mark, and you can see my eyes all darked out where they were hitting me. I had makeup on. You still see it. Right? You still see it. Okay? You still see it. Still see. She's like, I can see all that. What'd they do to that officer? I said, I turned him in, nothing. She said, those Ravenna courts, they're the worst. She said, you're not the first one that's come in here. She said, you're not the first one. And she said, I've heard about them. They won't correct their police. They let them do whatever they want, and they abuse and hurt people. Okay? They abuse and hurt people. Right? Someone needs, the FBI, that's what they do is correct them. They need to. They said they're going to address the rape with them. Dave never seems to marry this young blonde girl, Michelle. He was going to marry Kathy. She's an older, not so pretty woman. And not to be mean and insultive, but why would you want her? If you got a young blonde girl, you can do everything. And even Dixie's like, I knew about Michelle. I said, the young blonde girl? Oh, yeah, I know about her. The judge's daughter. I got to think, well, I figured she was probably next. She was next. Target practice. That's what they call me. Okay? Dave is the real target. Because if you got to think, you're 20, you're hot, you're blonde, your dad is a judge, super rich. You're in a store, there's a 60-plus-year-old man, heavy set. Why would you want him? He's your grandpa age. Huh? You're an extortion ring. Target. Find out. He's tried to kill his wife a couple times and it failed. Oh, we can know about that. We have fun with it too. Makes sense of the woman coming up to me. Your husband was seen in town with another woman. What they were saying was unsettling. Looked scared and walked off. I'm like, who are? See what I mean? I bet that's probably close to it. And then, okay? It was like a war zone up there. A fucking war zone. A war zone. People breaking in, stabbing me with needles. You need to pull, and you need to get the login. 12/21/18. I'm literally stabbed in the neck at the refrigerator. I wake up 6 hours later. I got a dent in my skull. I have hair missing. Another man's hair combs on the dresser. Dave's accusing me of having an affair. Okay? And I didn't know what happened. I'm dizzy, and my head just pounding, pounding, pounding. All right? And people are still breaking in, stabbing me. It's like a fucking war zone. Okay? All right. And I have stalkers when I go out. People trying to shoot me. Okay? Now, down at Walmart by the TVs, within 2 weeks, there's a group of men with cell phones. We implanted a neural chip. We all can read your thoughts. That's your line. You're lying. I know I have a dent in my head. I know my hair is missing. And my head's killing me. And it felt weird around the skin. But you didn't do that. You did not do that. They are very real. They're called, if you Google paralyzed man plays video game with brain chip, paralyzed man plays computer with brain chip. They've had them since 16. They use it in the medical field. Now I have to have some kind of chip, because I'll tell you what, a Canton officer walked by and his phone dinged. He started reading off my information in Pete's restaurant. Okay? I told you how they blame the FBI. They would walk around Walmart. The case is called Karen's Will from the agency. Okay? They said it there. I'll tell you what, you can watch Altman Hospital's tapes. Altman Hospital's tapes of coming in. I go in, they're paying people off. And they're, give me how much for a settlement? You give me how much for a settlement? People are following me. Okay? Then I go in and I get registered. I sit down. Some lady comes in. I'm here for Karen's Will, the agency chipped her. Now they have to tape an audio through the whole hospital for medical malpractice. The whole hospital. Now, if I can tell you, 15 years ago, I had a tiny camera in different corners, and it picked up audio out of that tiny camera onto a VHS tape. 15 years ago, if a kid insulted me across this thing, why wouldn't the camera say, I want to hear it. Yeah, right at the desk. I'm here for Karen's Will agency. Chipped her. She points right at me and said, is that why she's there? An older woman gets in my face. Well, I'm sitting down. The agency wanted the truth out of you. That's why they chipped you. It wasn't them. It was the jury, please. Okay. In the back, I tell Dr. Alan Antinez, I may have a chip because I have some swelling here. Okay. He goes to leave. There's a man right there. Some damn bastard neurochipper. He said, I don't know. Huh? A doctor acknowledged. Okay. There's a CT scan you would have to have. The radiologist go through it. You can see the wires, the cut, the crack. I showed it to a Stark County sheriff, and he's like, I can see it. Okay? Now, this isn't funny. None of this is funny. Dave is actually the target. He has $375,000 in life. He has a $200,000 house, but it has a small life insurance policy on it. Okay? So when he dies, there's like $600,000. Right there. And the second wife wouldn't be responsible for any of the bills. Or whoever he leaves it to. Don't even have to be married to him. Dave's the target. Because why would a super young, blonde girl, hot, rich father, judge, why would you want 60-plus-year-old man, lives 11 miles out of town, a little $200,000 house, full of debt, because we just bought it. House payment, 2 car payments, loans, credit cards. That it would have took us a good year to pay all that stuff off. Of over, like, concentrating to get all that back under control to where we fixed everything up. Why would you want a man that works 2 jobs and just barely makes it? I mean, we made $100,000. We weren't poor. And it would have took us about a year and a half to get everything under control. Again, I mean, we were comfortable. Trust me, we made $100,000. But why would you want somebody who's wanting to retire in a few years and has nothing but a house and a dumpy boat? that has a good motor. And you're super rich. You'd want a doctor. You'd want an attorney, another judge. You'd want your comfortable lifestyle. You wouldn't want to dummy down. Right? Right. But if you're part of an extortion ring, new target, new guy in town, hey, I get money out of him. And then find out the attempted kidnapping, the follow-arounding, and the attempt to break in knowing where the security system was. He's had real attempts on me. He's tried, and it's failed, right? Well, we can hop at this, we'll have fun with it. The real police investigation, where I'm supposed to be in protected custody, okay? They sold that login. And people, regular people have it. Teenagers. She beats all the time because his ass is beating her. Old ladies. They don't even tell you who was in the room. I'll tell you what, in front of 1,000 people, that officer followed me to Macy's, followed me at Faith Family Church, and in front of 1,000 people, I had to arrest that whore and calls me a whore for him smothering, having that stalker. They're in with the stalkers. Yeah, smothering me while he's punching me in my private area and punching me up inside till I pass out, sat me up, drugged me, and then beat a confession out. And people have that for personal enjoyment. The usher got in his face, what you did was consider rape, you leave her alone, start yelling about Dave. Okay? They sold the login to a real police investigation. Okay? Now, I've never been questioned or accused of any wrongdoing. I've never been prosecuted. I've never went to trial. I have never even had a man or a lady knock on my door because I'd like to see the tape. Because there is none. Some guy was in sheets yesterday. He laughing. He said, it is something. There isn't a tape of someone knocking on the door questioning you. There isn't. They leave some guy's name called Steve, Eric, Kurt, Chris, and Mark. Men I don't know. Right? Never had him in my home. Never spoke to him. Okay? Never spoke to him. I had bruises before I called FBI. And I had. Okay? And you know what's something? The FBI investigated Amish people cutting off beards. Remember, it was on the newspaper? Huh? Because it was an occult. A religion going after another set of the religion. Because then it does hit them. Okay? But yeah, some guy was laughing. There is no tape of you actually sitting down with someone in person. Where is it? I have bruises. I got sick. And Dave touched my drink. And when I taped it, Karen, you're good to the kids, you're good to the grandkids, no matter who it is. Trust no man, took that one to heart. You know, Will told me, Karen, I'll take care of everything. He left me on his desk and turned it over the place. Yeah. It's supposed to be in protected custody. I go into Maslin. Maslin protects me. It's been police departments. And volunteers. And where they sold the login, people stepped forward at first and was helping me. And then where they've got these weird druggies. And that was some. I told him, I said, they say they have sodium pentothal reports. FBI agent went, what's that? I said, truth serve. He's like, really? I said, they were stabbing me with needles up there. I said, it was horrible. And, you know, where I called Will and I got a secretary, I said, I seen the guy. He took off through the side woods. If you look at my photos, on July 1st, I'm taking pictures of my beautiful backwoods. Well, one time right before it started, I was laying in bed and I looked up and I could hear this beautiful bird sing, and I see a rope through a tree. I'm like, what's that? Because there's a big woods out there. And then a scope gets lowered at my bed. I get up and close the curtain. And I'm like paralyzed in fear. Okay? So I finally get enough nerve to go to open up the curtain, lay down, and it's gone. Well, with everything that happened, I want to see if there's more scopes in the tree. So I'm scanning through. There's a deer with its head turned. Okay? Okay? Scan over. There's a man with head glasses at 150 feet from me sitting on my back porch in a thick woods. He couldn't see him. Give you an idea how not funny this is. That's how he knew I was at the end of the driveway when he wasn't home, and our security cameras didn't go to the end of the driveway. They went to the side yard, the front steps, and the back. He had men positioned in the woods. No, I've had people in stores, and even my old client said, Karen, this is crazy. I said, what's crazy? He said, there's people in stores admitting that they drugged you and told you to say it before, and they raped you. He said, in front of people. And I said, tape and audio, I've been reporting them to the police. And you can't tell me, at 15 years ago, I had a little VSH recorder and a tiny camera in the thing. And I could pick up some kid and assault me across the store. Yeah. 15 years ago. Yeah, when I got my lens, my glasses, the side popped off, okay? And I had to get my glasses fixed, okay? They told me, I was telling them how the judge's wife bragged Memorial Day weekend 2019 at the food counter, how they did all this for her daughter. He started laughing. He said, you know I'd have that. They'd have all those men bragging how they drugged me. Uh-huh. And we're using sodium pentothal. And the stalkers they hired. There's evidence. If you want to do research. People have this. Even teenage kids. Teenage kids have this. Old ladies. Children. They'll have their children. Oh, it's funny they raped her. Or it's sick they raped her. Yeah. Like I said, the only thing that is fucking funny, and it is fucking funny, there's two things. Out of all the hell that I lived through, my ex-daughter-in-law, Melissa, was going to have the kids make up some mean games and pretend to get away with it. Well, they were yelling boo and taking each one down, and I barely got off the steps. And on the third step up, I hear going back up because they went boo. Well, like, everybody was doing it, making me happy. Third step up, we hate Grandma. The house wasn't meant for her. It was meant for Auntie, Shell, and Papa. And Grandma needs to get out, Michelle. Okay? All right. So, and then, yeah, they're talking crazy crap and asked my son. He didn't know, and it couldn't be anything bad. And he just told them they're going to move out, and she'll have the church people make up something, too. And I'm like, you shouldn't have said anything till that happened. Well, I did, but it can't be anything bad. I went up and said something to my kid. But they told Flora in the basement. They told Flora in the basement they were making everything up. It was a game of pretend, all that sick shit. And all the police knows they lied. And so does everybody else. Okay? The only thing that else is fucking funny, where they sold the login. Dave's naked ass is on the internet and he don't know it until someone tells him. Dear God, okay. In Ravenna, this is how much, okay. I'm on the toilet in my bathroom in Ravenna. I go to flush the toilet. I'm OCD like crazy. The sweater falls down and I push it up, okay? And I go ahead and flush the toilet. I haven't washed my hands, so I'm OCD. I take it off and I wash my arms up to my elbows and I go try it on 2 different sweaters, okay? Go to church. There's some girls come in, don't sit by her. She has a peace sweater on. And they're sitting there mocking me and I changed my sweater and washed my arms. Okay. I'm laying on my bed in Ravenna and I'm just praying, God, I wish I could have this day over again and a second chance. I go to church. Some guy's ahead of me. He's laughing. He said, you know what? Oh my God, a second chances, and starts teasing me. What? Man can and Canton. May 19, I apply for Liberty Health Share. Okay, go down there. The lady worked there, looked at me and said, Karen, if you didn't hear John's kids right on the 3rd step up, Dave's girlfriend isn't Shell, it's Michelle. And I'm like, shh. Okay. Macedonia Fire Department said something. There was a lady who went out to Dr. Rapika's office. There were some dirty officers out there harassing me. Okay? To see him sitting in the back room. Went in the back and started yelling about what I said in my living room in Ravenna. Okay? They asked Dr. Rapika, were they really here? Like January 19th? He's like, yeah, they were here. You want me to keep going? Youngstown gas station? Well knows that chip needs to come out. Yeah, well, yeah. You need to get the login. The man that went to Paymer showed up later. Yeah, right, you didn't have a right to tip you. Yeah, right, U.S. Supreme Court 18-10134. It's called research. Because it's come out where I was getting sick when Dave touched my drinks. He roofied me and told me to say something stupid. And so did the church people, and I didn't know. All I knew was getting sick and dizzy, and I was waking up with bruises. And then here the undercover police were helping participate in this. The dark gray truck is the one that raped me. He, white, shaved head, dark eyes, 6 foot, stocky. Went around, they're telling everybody they're FBI. I didn't know him, I didn't talk to him. Besides, excuse me and thank you for opening the door. Don't talk, I didn't talk to him. Okay, no. And that's where, yeah. But they followed me all the way into Massillon and a whole bunch of other places, okay? And they're not allowed out of Ravenna. Yeah. But, yeah, he drove the dark gray truck. There's a video of it. If you want to do some research, a lot of people have it. Old ladies, teenagers. I was in Dollar General in October 20, and some girls came up. It's 3 white men in your room. We all knew what happened. Construction workers, so like we all knew what happened. They sold it for the state case, the police investigation, for $25 a pop, made millions. So yeah, I don't think these people are funny. I do need that chip out. There has to be a chip. I mean, my God. If you even pull CSE, there's a guy at the front desk the first month. I'm thinking this guy's an idiot. They'll look over at me with the cell phones and said, she thinks he's an idiot. Come on, let's go. They were part of it. They, back by the TVs, within 10 days at Walmart, we implanted a neurochip. We all can read your thoughts. It's the one for paralyzed patients. But it's an illegal strategy for the two. Comes with a 20-year sentence. If you do it for that. The man that went to Paymer and told on me showed up later and acted like he had a right to do it. Okay? That's how not funny this is. And I don't know him either. He just yells stuff at me out of the car. Find out who went to Paymer. Yeah. But yeah, I've never even been questioned or accused or legally charged of any wrongdoing. No man, no lady. I was being raped, tortured till I said yes to whatever they wanted. And I've thought about that because I was smothered, I was drugged, and I was being beat, raped, and tortured. And I said yes to anything. Those people, the terrorists, they waterboard. Do you ever think they just say whatever they want just so they can breathe? Because I did. Okay. Now, I'm going to upload this and then I'll send it to the FBI. They're going to be addressing the rape with them and some other things. But they need to do some research. Because I'll tell you what, the masculine police protect me when I'm in there. It's heartfelt attitude. March of 19, somebody bumped into me. And I pull over and a young African American officer got on his walkie-talkie, tell Bruce I'll take care of Karen tonight. Well, she's in town. Bruce was over the drug and gang unit. They protected me when I was in town. Their department took care of me. But the Ravenna police are not funny. And yeah.